Today we will discuss about process synchronization. So what is process synchronization? So let us look at one example. In the video lecture on inter-process communication, we have seen one problem which is the producer consumer problem, or which is also called the bounded buffer problem. Now in that problem we have seen the producer was producing the data and storing it in the buffer, and the consumer was reading the data or consuming the data from the buffer. So here producer is considered as process A and the consumer is considered as process B. Now the producer is producing the data at certain speed and the consumer is consuming the data at certain speed. If both of the speed between producer producing and the consumer consuming matches, then there is no issue. But if the producer is producing the data at a faster rate than the consumer can consume, then the buffer will be full and the producer will be overwriting the existing data. Also, if the consumer is faster compared to the producer, then the buffer will be empty and the consumer will be waiting for the data to be produced and put in the buffer. So in this case, the process A, the producer, and the process B, the consumer, needs some kind of synchronization. So in case of operating system, when there are multiple processes and they are using some shared data, in this case the buffer containing the shared data, then there must be some kind of synchronization so that the communication between the processes is not hampered. So to ensure that the producer should not add data when the buffer is full and the consumer should not take data when the buffer is empty. So it must be ensured when the buffer is full, producer or process A is not producing the data, and when the buffer is empty, the consumer is not consuming or taking any data. So coming to your process synchronization on the type of processes, we have two categories of processes. The first one is the independent process, where execution of one process does not affect the execution of other processes. The reason being they don't share any data, so that is why they are independent. Whereas there are cooperative process or cooperating process, where execution of one process affects the execution of other process. The reason being they are sharing the data, as we have seen in the case of producer consumer problem. And process synchronization problem arises in case of cooperative processes, also because resources are shared in cooperative processes. Now let us look at the term called race condition. So race condition is the situation where several processes access and manipulate shared data concurrently. I will repeat, where several processes access and manipulate shared data concurrently, and the final value of the shared data depends upon which process finishes last. So if we look at this particular example, we have a shared memory, as we have also discussed in the video lecture on inter-process communication. There is a shared memory, and this shared memory contains some shared resources. So this is the critical section. So one more name for this particular section where there is shared data, it is called critical section. And there are three processes, 1, process 2 and process 3. All of them are having access to this shared memory. So if process 1 changes the data, it will be visible to process 2 and process 3. If process 2 changes the data, then it will be visible to process 1 and process 3. And if process 3 changes the data, then it will be visible to process 1 and process 2. Also, it depends upon the order in which the processes execute. Suppose process 1 changes the value of a data item from 5 to 10, process 2 changes that value from 10 to 20, and process 3 changes it from 20 to 30. Then the final value of the data depends upon the last process, in our example process 3, which has changed the data. So race condition is a term which means that multiple processes, in our example 3 processes, so multiple processes are competing to access a section of the memory or the shared memory where the data is being shared for all the processes. So that particular condition is called race condition. So to prevent race condition, concurrent processes must be synchronized. So the critical section problem, what is this critical section problem is, there are n processes and all competing to use some shared data. So as in the previous example we have seen, there are 3 processes and all the 3 processes are competing with one another on the shared data, that is in the critical section. If we look at the image, we see that there is a code. What does this code represent? This is a general structure of a typical process PI. So for each process there is a code segment which is also called the critical section. This is a part of the code which is called critical section where shared data is accessed. So we have 4 section, which is entry section, critical section, exit section and remainder section. So if there are 2 processes and both of them want to use the shared data in the critical section, so they have to go through the entry section. What is this entry section? This entry section is a piece of code which allows only one process at a time. So if there are 2 processes P1 and P2, then only one of them will be allowed the entry based on the code satisfied by the process. Either it will be P1 or P2. So this is the entry section or the condition section which allows the entry. Then it goes to the critical section, that particular process which is allowed entry, and it will execute the code which contains the shared data. After it completes the executing the code in the critical section, it will exit. So that is why there are 2 important points or 2 important sections, entry and exit, and between them is the critical section. Finally they will come out of the exit section and the rest of the code will be executed, which is called the remainder section. Now the problem of critical section is that to ensure that when one process is executing in the critical section, no other process is allowed to execute in its critical section. So when one process is there in the critical section, the other processes has to wait or will not be allowed to enter the critical section. So that is your critical section problem. So let us look at critical section problem and more on that. The solution to the critical section problem must satisfy the following 3 requirements. So there must be 3 requirements that must be satisfied for getting the solution of critical section problem. So first one is mutual exclusion, second one is progress, and the third one is bounded waiting. So let us look at the first one, mutual exclusion. So what is mutual exclusion? If process PI is executing in the critical section, then no other processes can be executing in their critical section. To understand this, let us look at this particular example. So we have 2 processes P1 and process P2, and they are executing the same code. Only difference is that when a process wants to enter the critical section, it has to follow or it has to satisfy the condition in the entry section. So as an example, if P1 is executing in the critical section, the process P1 is executing the critical section, then the process P0 is not allowed to enter or is allowed to execute in its critical section. So the same code, but the critical section which is sharing the data for both the processes. So this particular section, only one process can be present at a time. So when P1 is here, P2 cannot be here, or if P2 is here, P1 cannot be here. That is, there is a mutual understanding between process P1 and process P2 that only one of them can be there in the critical section at a time, but not both. So this is one of the requirement that must be satisfied. Next is progress. If no process is executing in the critical section and there exist some processes which wish to enter their critical section, then the selection of the processes that will enter the critical section next cannot be postponed indefinitely. That means if there is no process in the critical section, that is the critical section is empty and no process is executing in the critical section, then if any process wants to enter the critical section, then it cannot be stopped and it cannot be postponed indefinitely. So there must be a time limit after which that process which wishes to enter the section will be allowed. I'll repeat, if there is no process in the critical section and a new process comes in and wants to enter the critical section, so that new process will be allowed entry after some time, but it cannot be postponed indefinitely. So that is about progress. Next is bounded waiting. A bound must exist on the number of times that other processes are allowed to enter their critical section after a process has made a request to enter the critical section and before that request is granted. To understand this, let us look at this particular example. So there exists a bound. Here bound means a count. So there exists a count on the number of times that other processes are allowed to enter the critical section. So if there are processes P1, P2 and P3, there must be a count on which they will be allowed entry in the critical section. That is, if a new process comes in and it wants to enter while the process P1, P2 and P3 are entering the critical section, exiting the critical section, again entering and when again doing an exit. So because they are doing an entry and exit and the new process is not being allowed to enter, so in that case there is a bounded waiting. So the new process will wait for certain duration and with that certain duration is the count for the other processes. In our example P1, P2 and P3, if we consider that each of the process has a count of 3, then each of the process P1, P2, P3 will be allowed entry in the critical section 3 times each, and after that count comes to 0, then the new process will be allowed entry. So that is what we call as bounded waiting. So the new process is waiting for the count of other processes to go to 0 or to be 0. So that is about bounded waiting. So these are the 3 requirements: mutual exclusion, progress and bounded waiting that must be satisfied for the solution to the critical section problem. So we have seen the requirements. Now we will see the solution to the critical section problem. Also we have to assume that each process executes at a non-zero speed and no assumption concerning relative speed of the end process. So in the next video lecture we will see the solution to the critical section problem. The first one is the Peterson solution, second one is the synchronization hardware, and third one is the semaphore. So we'll see these 3 solution in the next video lecture. That's all for now.